regain their composure. The novel ends here. So the story is only brief with very few incidents, very few characters, but we can see a lot of themes and symbols, and we will also justify the genres, why it is a dystopia, why it is an allegory, and why it is an adventure novel. Let us see first human nature, the themes. The first theme that comes out of this story is, what is human nature like? Golding argues that human nature is not innocent. Evil is in this society not because humans are compelled to be evil or because circumstances force them to make decisions that are dark. Golding argues that basically, even if you give a new chance to humans to begin all over again, they would still resort to violence because of their hunger for power, their hunger for domination, their hunger for respect, and that basically human nature cannot be corrected. There will be no peace no matter what facilities you give to people. He says that civilization therefore is necessary because civilization is a forced repression of savage instincts. Unless civilization brings in moral laws that can repress or control these savage impulses, there can be no peace or harmony, and there would be uncontrolled violence. So, civilization is the second theme of this novel. What exactly makes us different from savages? Why are we civilized, and why are people in jungle called uncivilized people? The difference lies in the fact that as a civilization we live in a society, and there are certain rules of the society that we are all expected to follow. Even if we hate a person, most of us would not kill him or her. Why we do not kill them is not because we think it is wrong to kill, but because our society has given us laws or moral laws that tell us that to kill is bad, to indulge into violence is bad. So civilization is not destruction or absence of savage impulses, of the desire to kill or the desire to hurt people. But civilization is a way to control everybody's savage desires, violent desires, and that is why civilizations flourish. This brings us to the third theme, which is savagery. By savagery, we mean those violent impulses that we do not consider good in a civilized world. While civilization considers savagery bad and tries to control it by repression and moral laws, savagery embraces those dark impulses and in fact celebrates them. So instead of trying to resist or stop violence, they actually encourage violence. They say that if you feel like killing somebody, you should kill somebody, and there is nothing wrong in killing somebody. So this is the basic difference that emerges out of the novel. What is civilization? What is savagery? What is the difference between the two? And what is better? Is there anything really that we can call civilized, or is civilization simply a mask to control our true nature that is basically dark, evil and violent? Another theme is wisdom. Simon is a middle way between Ralph and Jack. While Jack symbolizes or represents the savage instincts of humans that cannot be corrected, Ralph stands as a forced order or social order that creates civilization by suppressing or controlling these savage desires. Simon, on the other hand, forges a middle path. He is not violent basically, he is not savage, but he is not civilized either. He is civilized in the sense that this kindness comes in him naturally. It is not because of moral lessons imparted to him by history or his family or his school or his social environment, but like an exception, he is basically good. Please notice that among all the boys, Either people are in Jack's group or they are in Ralph's group. So either they are uncivilized, savage people who give in to their violent desires, or they are, like Ralph, bound to a forced order of civilization or moral order. Unlike Simon, they are all products of their social upbringing. But Simon is basically good natured, he is overflowing with kindness and also has a rational, logical side. He relies, his theory is relying on to one's own heart, introspecting or asking yourself questions, analyzing your own nature, and accepting that evil is a part of human nature and to counter it not based on moral social laws but by being rational and logical. Now, another dominant theme is the battle between the weak and the strong. We continuously see Ralph and Jack's groups fighting with each other for domination, for control over the island, and control over what kind of society will form them. In the beginning, other boys also tease Piggy because he's smart but he's physically weak, he has asthma. So, every time strong boys dominate weak boys, the weak boys dominate the even weaker boys. We have a perception in society that respect comes with domination. If you cannot dominate people, you do not get any respect. If you are dominated by people, you cannot have respect. So respect, this hunger for power, this hunger for respect is the fundamental basis of any society, whether it is civilized or savage. It is not as if Golding is making a case for civilization. He is in fact satiric of civilization, saying that people are like small kids who are not supervised and adults cannot be trusted to make good decisions about society and the planet in general. There is a beautiful quote from this book which says, "Ralph wept for the end of innocence, the darkness of man's heart, and the fall through the air of a true, wise friend called Piggy." At the end, when Ralph weeps, it is not because he is happy or he is sad. He is unhappy because finally, at the moment of his rescue, he realizes that his childhood is lost and it would never come back to him again. Even if he is rescued, he goes back to his land, he will not have a childhood anymore. He has been tainted by social constructions that make him realize the evil in mankind, and therefore the age of innocence that comes with childhood is lost. Secondly, he realizes that darkness lies in every man's heart, that there is no escape from darkness, there is no resistance to darkness. And he mourns the death of Piggy, who to him was a good friend, a wise friend, somebody who symbolized science and technology to help them rescue themselves from the island. You can see this symbolic chart. The conch that they used is a symbol of the beginning of the society. The dagger that the boys carry to kill Ralph's team is a symbol of violence. Piggy's specs stand for science because fire was the first invention of mankind. It was a symbol of hope and is also a symbol of destruction. The spears that they carry again carry a hint of violence, a hint of being uncivilized. The painted faces that Jack's team adopt are a refusal to conform or to follow civilized, because civilized people do not paint their faces, only tribal or hunter groups paint their faces. So their act of painting their faces is an act of rejecting civilization. The biggest symbol, which is also the title of the novel, is the Lord of the Flies. As you know by now, it is not a human being and it is not alive anymore. It is the slaughtered head of a dead pig, and it symbolizes evil and darkness. Again, notice that pigs are not revered or worshipped. pigs are considered dirty and they are a symbol of filth or dirtiness, and a dead pig is bound to attract flies. So, this dead pig is called the Lord of the Flies, and this symbolizes the darkness in every person, the lengths to which people can go to satisfy their hunger for power and lust for respect, and that evil is not an external thing that you can run away from, but it is in your own heart. The other symbols are the first is piggish glasses. It stands for signs that can both create and destroy civilization. By producing fire, it gives people or the boys hope. It gives us a chance to develop civilization. But because that fire spreads into the forest and kills somebody, it can also become a symbol of destruction. Again, remember that this was set in World War I and Golding had seen both World War I and II. This caused him to be disillusioned with the powers of science. The atom bomb that was made for mines was used to kill nations, and a lot of people were killed because of the atom bombs. So the people in that age, including Golding, saw for the first time how science that was made for the benefit of mankind could also destroy mankind on a huge scale. The island is also a big symbol. The island symbolizes a natural order that is not created by humans, that was in fact there even before humans came into existence. It symbolizes a fresh start for humans where they can erase all their previous mistakes and start afresh. And it also symbolizes freedom from all previous human laws, so that there can be new laws that would be peaceful and that would not lead to another world war. Then you have a symbol called the scar. In the first scene where the boy's plane crashes and lands on the island, the crash of the plane causes a rip through the forest or a pathway that is created because of the plane crashing. Unlike the island, it is a symbol for destruction, because this indicates that humans are forcibly entering what is not their natural environment, and by this forced entry or this forced interference, there will be chaos. The silent, peaceful island would now be a battleground for the human hunger for demolition and domination. Again, fire is a symbol of hope and destruction. It is a symbol of hope because the boys had hoped that seeing the fire, a passing ship would stop and realize that somebody needs to be rescued there. But later on, when it spreads to the forest and kills a little boy, it is considered also the symbol of destruction. A major figure here, a symbol here is adults. Apart from the Navy officer at the end, not a single adult features in this novel. Despite that, adults are a symbol. Now, we consider children to be immature and innocent and adults to be mature and wise. Golding argues that adults are as irrational, as immature and short-sighted as children. The secondary allegorical layer of the story, the symbolic layer of the story I described when I said allegory, is that while the children's world is chaotic because there is nobody to supervise them, similarly the adult world where the world war is happening is also equally chaotic. These adults, instead of behaving like mature people, behave like unsupervised children who will make a fire, will not take care of it, and will finally fight and kill each other for no reason at all. So, they are satirized for their quest for power and their inability to create peace. The conch is a symbol of civilizing forces. Unlike the fire, it is a natural phenomenon, It is not made by humans, but it is a natural resource used by humans to create a new human society. It is a symbol of the creation of social order, where for the first time a meeting is gathered and people decide on what to do. And it also becomes the symbol for rivalry and power structures, because in the novel only the person holding the conch can speak in a meeting and the other people have to remain silent and to listen to him. So the person who has the conch has the power. So everybody wants the conch just as everybody wants Piggy's glasses. So while it also stands for civilization and civilizing forces, it also symbolizes that there is going to be a fight and a power structure will emerge out of that clash. These were the basic themes. Now we have to go deeper into why it is a dystopia, allegory, and an adventure. We defined earlier the dystopia as a society that was undesirable for humans because the human values that we value so much are erased or destroyed. The society created by the boys is dangerous, it is unsafe, it is undesirable, and it is scary. When the two groups fight, Jack and his boys resort to murder, and they do it happily, which creates an atmosphere of fear. Nobody wants to live in a society like that. There is hunger for power and domination, which takes away peace, is the foundation of this new society, which makes it unhappy and unsuitable for normal people to live in. We cannot live there peacefully, which is why it can be called a dystopia. Let us see why it can be called an allegory. The surface story is about boys who land on this island, divide themselves into two groups and fight with each other. But the symbolic story is that the island represents our real world, the children and their loss of innocence, their loss of wisdom, their loss of maturity, symbolizes the adults who are equally immature, unreasonable, and unreliable. And the children symbolize the adults who, without supervision of either wiser people or wise laws that we call the society, will